Diolch, Llywydd. In the 70th year of the NHS, it remains Wales's greatest invention, and it is, of course, the staff to which we owe the greatest gratitude. So I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone here when I say diolch o galon I chi gyd on behalf of all of us. Now, Wales's ageing population means that care services are unable to deal with the pressure that they're under, leading to thousands of unnecessary referrals to the NHS. It's in your gift, First Minister, to create the National Care Service that Plaid Cymru has been advocating for some time now, to alleviate that pressure. Will you do it?
Well, it's not clear what a National Care Service would do. It is right to say that there is still work to be done in aligning further the work of social services with health. We know there can't be a divorce between the two. The two run very much together. And that is what we are doing, working with our local government colleagues to make sure there are fewer people who are delayed in hospital, who are seeing delayed transfers of care go down, and also, of course, to work with primary care providers to make sure that they are able to provide the care that people need to avoid them going into hospital in the first place.
It's not happening quick enough, First Minister, and that's why we've advocated this National Care Service. Bold changes are needed for our health and social care services to reflect the changing demographics in this country. Bevan's bold vision saw the creation of the NHS, and a similar bold vision is needed now for a national care service. We can all agree that the NHS is a Welsh institution that is the envy of the world over, but Wales's place in the world is putting it under threat. Unlike the promises on the side of the famous big red bus, Brexit's danger for the NHS has come into sharp focus this week. NHS England's Chief Executive Officer, Simon Stevens, confirmed that there is extensive planning taking place for a no-deal Brexit. First Minister, can you tell us exactly what planning has been taking place here in Wales, in the Welsh NHS, for a no-deal Brexit scenario?
No amount of planning will help us to recruit doctors in the event of a no-deal Brexit. It's a disaster. In fact, people were told 2 years ago that it wouldn't happen, and now they're being softened up for a no-deal Brexit that will lead to many things. And she is right to point this out, because what it would mean, it would be far more difficult to attract doctors and nurses into our health service, and every single health service in the Western world relies on medical staff from other countries, because they want to be able to attract the best wherever they are from. And the message that's being sent out from Britain at the moment is doctors and nurses from other countries are not welcome here. That somehow this is not the country to come to, it's too much bother to come to, too much bureaucracy in the future, and that is not what we want. A no-deal Brexit cannot be planned for, because if we can't attract doctors and nurses from other countries, we will not make up the numbers that we need in Wales. That's why we continue to fight, as she does, for a Brexit that is sensible and makes sure that the people of Wales don't suffer.
I'm really concerned that you have no plan for a no-deal Brexit, First Minister. They are planning for this in England. You should be planning for this here in Wales. Now, I know that we both want to see our NHS weather the Brexit storm. You are in a position to do something about it, though. I don't have faith in Westminster to ensure a steady hand on the tiller. No deal needs planning, and that planning needs to start now for the sake of patients and for staff. Now, one of the most startling revelations relates to our access to medicines post-Brexit. 37 million patient packets of medicines are imported into the UK from the EU every single month. Now, in a no-deal scenario, there is no guarantee about a single one of those packs. Medicines regulation is not a devolved matter, and NHS England has confirmed that they are preparing to stockpile medicines made outside the UK for English patients. That's what planning does. First Minister, are there specific Welsh contingency plans, or are you going to leave it up to the Department of Health in Whitehall to ensure that Welsh patients can access the treatments that they need post-Brexit? Yes,
we will do what we have to do in order to cater for that scenario. But let's not pretend here that any of this is good. I mean, she makes the point that there is planning for a no-deal Brexit. There's no planning for a no-deal Brexit. It's more like people running around in circles screaming, because there are no plans at all for it. Let's look, for example, at the ports. Where are the plans to put in place a structure in the ports to deal with extra customs checks, possibly extra border controls on the queues of lorries that would be created as a result, and the parking that would be created as a result of that. Nothing. There's no planning for it. The reason why no planning has been done on a no-deal Brexit in Whitehall is because they convinced themselves that the EU would crumble and therefore there would be a deal. It would be an abject failure on the part of Brexiteers if, having promised the people of Britain in 2016 that there would be a deal that the EU to agree to, that they then broke that promise 2 years on. They will have some explaining to do to the people of Britain.